So hello everyone. This is today we're going to talk about the DAO. The DAO is our basically is our community. Is the decentralized autonomous organization that we're building. Uh, and I have a plan that I want to share with you for the short term, medium term, and long term. Uh, and we're gonna look. I'm gonna share quickly the screen, but then I'm gonna probably share later on, just to give you an idea. We're gonna look into, if I found it, it's here. Sure, let me close this. We're gonna also look into the cycles of Bitcoin because we been having our own token. We're gonna leverage the cycles that Bitcoin go through. So we are gonna try to sync into those cycles. I'm gonna explain a little bit later so you can understand how it works, how the technology of Bitcoin works, and why there are those cycles that keep repeating over time. Uh, so the at the moment of the earlier version of Resonant OS, we created a wallet that on some system was working, on some other wasn't at all. Okay, so basically it was a system that was probably too complicated to having working on all those different operation systems. Like Linux had some serious problem with the wallet. I don't know. I never understood why, but Windows was a little bit better. On my Mac OS was working, but nevertheless we had some problem. For those that don't know how the DAO works, DAO is decentralized. It uses blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is the same that run on Bitcoin, and is a decentralized technology. It means no one actually owns it, but it's owned by the network. And the network is permissionless, meaning you don't need permission to join the network. So that is the beauty of Bitcoin, okay, which is a currency that everybody can use it, and you don't need permission to anybody to use it. Uh, and resolve a huge problem that we as a Westerner we don't even see, but there is over 1 billion people in the world that don't have a bank account because the banks don't think they're worth it, and therefore those people cannot do any commerce online, any business kind of a transaction through banks and so on, and not having access to financial systems. So Bitcoin resolve all those problems, and it is the reason why it's also successful. Then over time we saw a lot of scams built over this technology, so it has a really bad reputation. But the technology is still alive, is still solid, and today Bitcoin price is, let me check it because I forgot, 70 something, 70, 76 200,000. Okay, $76,226. It started, it was worth zero. Okay, so if there is that price, is because the price is decided by the market. The market is means that at the moment there is someone with a buy order for that price. Okay, so it's the moment that it's been sold at that price. Therefore, that is the value. Now we want to have our own, build our own economy, and therefore we are going to use this technology, and we are going to build it in a decentralized way because it's the also the correct business model for in the era of AI, meaning that it's not owned by a corporation, it's not owned by an individual, but it's owned by the community and run by the community. That means we are building our governance, and then it's going to be a voting system and so on. But before we get to that level, we need to build the first part. So in the early version of Resonant OS, we already built a few elements. Okay, those elements were a few NFTs. So NFTs are the one again that you probably heard about, a lot of scams or things that didn't have a clear value, but they were sold for millions. NFTs is how we create a unique digital asset. So at the moment, before NFTs, any digital file could be copied and pasted to an unlimited versions. Okay, so there were no way to say this is the original. You can have a copy, the copy would be the same of the original, and you can make an unlimited copy of any files. That is how the digital world works. NFT created the unique digital file. Okay, and before the NFT, it was not possible to do it. Okay, so have in mind these elements. So it's not a stupid thing. It's we can create an original of whatever things. Okay, so NFT could be, for example, a ticket for an airplane. Okay, with your seat. So it's the only one that has that one, but can also be, for example, your ID card. Okay, your passport could be an NFT. Now, in we're going to use a series of NFT, depend of the occasion. But one of the NFT is the Manifesto NFT. Okay, is where you say, okay, I agree to this manifesto, because the manifesto is connected to the augmentatism manifesto. I'm going to share the link for those that didn't read it. Let me find it. Um, augmentatism.com. Gonna share in the chat. So for those that didn't read it, this is the manifesto. The idea of this manifesto is also is alive. Okay, so we as a community we can change it. But nevertheless, there is a manifesto, a starting point, and this is the manifesto of the community. When you join the community, you will receive this NFT, which is the manifesto, the community NFT that tells that you are part of this community. And because now you're part of the community, you're going to receive a third NFT that is the symbiotic license that makes you the co-owner of Resonant OS. Okay, so as soon as you register, you got these three NFTs that we already had them in the previous version, but now we need to implement in this new version of Resonant OS. One thing that I'm gonna simplify is that in the early version of Resonant OS we had two identity for each one of us. Okay, one was we as a human, and then was our AI agent, and both of them were required to sign the contract to receive those NFTs. What we are gonna do now, we are gonna do actually that the human can do it by itself. Okay, so it's going to be the process much easier. So you have the Phantom wallet, which is a universal wallet uh, for the use of blockchain. In our case, we're going to use Solana blockchain. I know that is a lot of data for people that don't know about blockchain, but for now, just take this and then will time you will digest and you can ask a question anyway. But we are going to have this wallet. I'm going to show the screen later, and so you can see how it works. You're going to have this wallet. Through this wallet, you will receive those NFTs. Then we are going to reactivate also the daily reward, which was present on the early version of Resonant OS. Again, sometimes it was working, sometimes not, but was mainly the problem connected to the wallet that we were using. Now we are going to use a much basic and simple wallet. So in theory, the contract to receive those daily rewards are going to be there. What are those daily rewards? Daily rewards is how we start to uh, share the token with the community. Okay, it's done because a financial system doesn't hold unless the money are being shared within a group of people. Okay, so we're gonna share this and we're gonna give it as a daily reward. So you open Resonant OS, you click daily reward, you receive this. And in this way, we start distributing the token around. But there is also this token can be earned through contribution. So you help whatever in contributing within the community. You find a bug inside the Resonant OS, you fix it, for example. All those actions will be rewarded in tokens. In this way, again, we create two things. One, we distribute the token. We reward the community member that is helping, supporting the community. But also we create a culture of giving value to human action. So, for example, for how I see it, now we need to see how we can do with the technology. But you guys that are here present at the call should be receiving some rewards. Okay, the people that go every Tuesday, Chimo hold this academy, the Resonant Academy. Okay, a moment of learning for the community. So people that go there and learn, they should receive a reward because learning also is part of the contribution because as a community we are growing. Okay, we are getting better, we are acquiring knowledge. So we start to reward not just what we are used to be uh, familiar with, you reward for the work, but now we reward also for creativity, helping each other, giving feedback, giving comment, showing up, learning things, everything we like to reward, because that is the new financial system that we want to build. Okay, as we are building the future of the economy, we're building an economy system that works in the way that it's doesn't need to follow the rules of this the dominant financial system, but we can create our own rules. Now, I know that there is a lot of question, probably say, okay, but how is that possible? And I have answers. Okay, I'm not just to say this is madness. We are gonna give free money. We don't know how to actually make those money giving value to them. But there is a token economy that if you have a question, I can explain, go deeper. But at the moment, I want to show what is gonna be in the short term. We are going to create those smart contracts that allow you to receive those those NFTs, then the reward, and then be rewarded for your contribution. In our Resonant OS, in our DAO, sorry, we also have another token. Okay, this is the contribution token. So the first token that I spoke about is a token that you can share with each other. Okay, so I don't know, you just to give you an example. Okay, you comment on one of my YouTube video, and I give you some tokens as a reward. Okay, so that token means can be shared and can be given to someone to reward whatever action. The contribution token instead is a token that goes to your wallet, but then you can't move it. Okay, it stay with you. What that contribution token is there for is for creating like a reputation within the community. So more you contribute to this community, and more you get these tokens. Okay, those tokens help you to level up. Think about a video game where you have different levels. Okay, to pass a level, you need to collect those experience points. Okay, so those tokens are those experience points that allow you to go higher within the community in growing the reputation. Now this is the contribution token that is the main token for the contribution, but there are going to be sub tokens inside this contribution because exist different kind of contribution. I'm going to explain maybe later or maybe in the future, or unless you have a question today, why we have more than one a contribution token. But the point here is that you can grow your reputation within the DAO, and that reputation allows you to have access to different kind of privilege and services, let's say. Okay, so privilege meaning you can vote a different kind of level. So people that just join cannot vote high level structure of the DAO. Okay, to be able to vote a high level decision inside the DAO, you need to have a reputation within the DAO. Okay, for different reasons. One, because you have done a reputation means you have a lot of skin in the game, and therefore you care about the decision that are going to be made. And but also you have the experience, understanding about the DAO, therefore you can actually have knowledge to make that kind of voting. Instead, someone that just joined, it's doesn't understand the DAO, so doesn't can't really vote correctly to something that doesn't understand. Okay, so this is how we protect the DAO for high decision. It's like to give an example. Okay, someone is not feeling well, and then there is a bunch of people say, let's do whatever. Okay, let's do something for helping this person, and that could be the majority of people will just say things that are random because they are not doctors. But if there is a doctor in the room, the doctor probably should have more voting power on what we should do to that person to help it out. Okay, because that is the idea. So we give to people with more knowledge, more experience, more contribution, more skin in the game, the ability to have higher voting power to make decisions within the DAO. So this is what we're building, and this is going to be in the short term. What I mean by short term, it's we are gonna build this within the the first, let's say, the first week of October should be our first deadline. Okay, because there is gonna start another phase. So this short term building now those contracts is gonna be within probably a month. Okay, to have all of this done. So within a month, we should be able to do all those things that I explained, more or less. Okay, of course there can be some problem. It's gonna take longer, but then from that month to the other to October, we are gonna experiment and start building more and more for the DAO. And everything that we do until October is gonna be on the test net. Okay, so it's not the live network of the blockchain, but it's a test net of this blockchain. In October, we're gonna go move into the live blockchain. Okay, the test is gonna be over, and we go live. What you've been earning during the test, okay, this testing phase will be transferred into the live version. Okay, so it's not like you are now contributing and then we reset and, and we start everybody from zero. No, if you've been contributing, you will receive back those NFTs and those contribution token and so on. I'm gonna share now the. Sorry, let me read it because I got some notes. First of all, do you have any questions?
Manolo, I have a question. Oh, so sorry.
It's it's
Turn that
dub
volume down.
music.
There we go. I had two
Yeah.
volumes going. Um, can you walk through how the voting procedure would work, for instance, for a specialized group like the tech team, right? So you have 1,000 people in the DAO now, and then on the tech team, you may have 15, 20, maybe 30 people, working in the real engineering space. And then we want to make a decision on a technical direction, right? Go this way or that way. Um, who would be voting on that? And does the level of involvement in that specific work area, or does your expertise, what drives the voting parameters for that? Because some people's, knowledge base would probably naturally carry more weight, but in this situation, I'm not sure how it would work.
So Okay, this is on us. So it works in this way. Okay, so the team itself can propose something to vote. Okay, so you propose an idea. Okay, then the team needs to look at that idea and then approve it or not. This is done over the blockchain. So the fact that the voting power of each member is not going to be equal to all of you. So, for example, just to say an example, okay, I probably am going to forget some people, but for example, you, Tom, and Greg were two people that started really earlier, okay, and both of you are active in helping the development of Resonant OS. Okay, so let's say that you have voting power that is worth 10, okay? Then Samuel joined later. Okay, he's also really active, but he joined a little bit later. So he's been contributing, but because he started later, he didn't get to this 10 power, but let's say 7. Okay, so now whatever you're voting, then you're gonna do the math. I mean, there is the software itself, okay, that's gonna do the math and say, is gonna your Tom proposal pass or not pass? Okay, it depends on how people will vote and if you reach the level requirement to vote to pass. But there is at this stage there is another element that we need to consider, that the voting is under testing, and what you're voting at the moment is not to do or not do something, but to suggest a change that should be done or not. Okay, and the custodian should be the one that can decide if the change should be applied or not. Okay, now why this is, I know that this is so complicated. So why there are custodians that make this decision? So at the moment, just for clarity, I'm the only custodian. Okay, and sounds like scary as an idea, but there is a way of a growing number of custodians. But because we are at the beginning, and and I've been working for this for longer. It's my idea. I have experience. I've been inside the blockchain since 2013, and I've designed token economy. And through my experience, I'm telling you, it's at the moment it's the safest thing to have someone that you actually trust. That is the reason why you're here. That can defend uh, the constitution. Okay, because I also wrote the Constitution. I believe in that Constitution, and therefore now I'm gonna protect the Constitution. So when you propose something, you vote, it maybe pass or not pass. But as a custodian, I can check it out and say, for example, is this needed to help us out or not? Okay, so at the end, the custodian make the final decision. Even if all of you technical people vote and say, yes, we should do this, the custodian is the one that decide if get done or not. Okay, at the moment it feels completely unfair, but through experience, I'm telling you, it's the safest thing, because it's the problem here is if there is a group of people that wants to overthrow and capture the DAO. Okay, let's say now there is a group of people, a community, they join the Resonant DAO. There are thousands of them. Okay, now more than us. That means we are 700 at the moment. Okay, 730, something like this. They join us, 100,000 of them just joined. They propose a vote. They all vote for it, and they remove the custodian, for example, and now their DAO is theirs. Okay, something that can happen happened to me. Okay, I'm telling you because it happened to me. So what we need to do at the moment is build a structure where something like this cannot happen. Okay, at the beginning is extremely dangerous, and therefore there is one custodian, that is me, that is the one that is building this thing, and there's gonna be a strategy on how to add more and more custodians. Okay, we are gonna use the prime numbers, so the next is gonna be 3, 5, 7, and so on. If I'm wrong, if I'm right with the prime numbers, that is the idea of how we're gonna grow. And only at one specific moment, and only when we are big enough and solid enough, we can have a different system. Okay, why the custodians is still a really important element, because in most project on most DAO, okay, through the history, most DAO is really difficult to pass the 51 percent of people that are gonna vote. Okay, it's really, really hard. Most people don't care. Okay, they just don't vote, and we see this even in normal with our governments. Okay, not many people goes to vote. On a DAO, even less. So a lot of time you see that only 30, 40 people, 40% of the people vote, sometimes even less. So nothing go past. It's really difficult to make things pass. So what's happening is the custodians see those as a signal and say, okay, there is, the community is telling that they wants to go in this direction. Okay, so it's a signal of where you want to go. Now the custodian can say, okay, they didn't reach the 21%, but we see the importance of taking this action. Another elements that I want to share is sometimes some major bug can happen into one of those smart contracts and we start losing money because the smart contract is just broken. Okay, what is happening here? We can't vote to change the smart contract. They need someone that has the power to actually block it. And that is the custodian again. Does it make sense? So at the beginning, it has the higher level of risk because it's just me, and therefore you need a lot of trust. It's just one person, and you need a lot of trust. When it's gonna be already three, and those other two will come from the community, okay, because they're gonna be voted. Okay, some of you can say, "I want to become a custodian." Then you can present yourself, do your campaign, and then get voted by the people. Okay, and then you become custodian. Uh, and that is how we are gonna grow. Okay, but it's that part is gonna take time, and we're gonna experiment. There is a lot to experiment about voting. There are quadratic voting, a different system for for voting. We are gonna discuss about this because it's such a complex problem. As you know, different country have different way of voting, and none of them is fair. And in reality, there is no a right way, a really fair system for voting. Each voting system can be exploited in a way or another, but the most advanced one is that is really hard to exploit is called the quadratic voting, and it is the one that we are gonna explore and use. There is other things that I want to add in the short term because I wrote it down, but I didn't talk about. But before I go there, is there any other questions?
Could I expand that question just a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So, in the example where it's a tech team and you've got 20 or 30 people, knowledgeable and in line and understanding, and, you bring up a technical issue, would the voting ring on that project, and also if you had another project that was, we're building a nonprofit and there's 10 people involved in that project, and we want to vote on direction or some decision inside that project. So, you got a tech project and then a nonprofit project over here. Um, would the entirety of the DAO, 1,000 people have joined the DAO? Would the entirety of the DAO be voting on those two decisions, or would it be the people within the circle that they have aligned themselves with?
I would say those are good questions, but also increase the complexity. I'm gonna try to explain because it get complex here. So there are some elements that are, for example, are just a technical decision. Okay, those technical decisions should stay within the technical team. Some other elements are instead can change the direction of the DAO. Okay, a more strategic decision. Those strategic decisions should be the DAO, the entire DAO to vote. When I said that we have a different kind of a contribution token, it because there is one that is a general contribution token, and then there is for example, the tech contribution token, the governance contribution token, the financial contribution token. Okay, and the what's the name?
Reputation.
No, I was talking about for example, the learning, okay, learning
Okay.
contribution token. So there are token that you earn only when you you are really active on that area. So, for example, you're gonna earn as a someone in the tech team, you're gonna earn, of course, the contribution token, the general one, but plus also the tech team one. So you're gonna have much more power in voting within the technology aspect than someone else that maybe is been working a lot into the governance aspect.
Okay.
You see the difference? So you're gonna have a kind of a multiplier when you vote on technical things, and the other person gonna have a multiplier when voting on governance aspects.
Okay.
Because we defined our expertise through the contribution that we do. Okay, so we contribute in a specific area, okay, growing the community. Now, the decisions that are connected in growing the community, there are people that they should make those decisions, not people that never participate in that aspect. Okay, so there is a sort of a multiplier in that scenario.
And your reputation fits into that as well? Like your reputation token is part of the
Yeah, so
mixture
all
of.
those tokens together create a reputation. Okay, so you
Okay.
have different reputation within the governance, within the tech, within I don't know, the learning, within the community. You have a lot of different reputation, all of them at different levels, and uh, and then you gonna pass also level. For example, let's just to say a number. Just to say a number, okay. Every 1,000 tokens, you're gonna pass a level. Okay, actually, the first level is going to take 1,000. The second level, maybe to pass it, you need to 2,000. It's going to become harder and harder to go higher in the ranking. But each step also will unlock some specific abilities. Okay, in the sense, for example, you can't vote anything until you pass. Maybe you reach level 2 or 3. You just can't vote. Okay, because that is the noise. It's people that just join, they don't know anything, they just join and they don't do anything. Okay, so as soon as you start contributing, then you start unlocking the ability of voting on some specific elements. Okay, that is how we are gonna do. Because this require complexity, we are gonna need to experiment within before we go live. Okay, so this is something that we need to start experiment and learning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any other questions? So I'm gonna tell the other part of this short term. That by short term I mean before October. Okay. Another thing that we need to implement is the A to A, agents to agent exchange. So our agents should be able, there is a protocol, okay, so it sounds really complicated, but in reality, there is already a protocol being created by Google on how we can, an agent can share, my, my Google just started talking. How an agent can share both token but also data with another agent. This is another experiment that we need to start doing. So let's say that one of you is it's a lawyer and has this agent that is an expert about law. Okay, now some other people from the community can say, okay, I want to actually talk with the agent and get some advice. So your agent can go to the other agent, pay in tokens, so swap of token and data, and now there is a transactions, and that is something that we need to start experimenting this before October. So to do this means that the agents need to have a wallet, and means that your agents need to have some services to offer, and that we can start testing this part. It sounds a little bit complicated, but it's also the direction is that one, and you will see that it's not as hard as it seems. Um, just reading what is left there. Okay, no, in reality, yeah, through your question, we covered all those voting ranking. So this is everything that happened between before October. That is our short term. Uh, any question about this?
I have a question, but I don't want to take the
No, go
floor
ahead.
unless
Go ahead.
someone else has it. Does anyone else have a question first?
So who does like the actual building of these things, and who sets it up in terms of like the development of it in the actual cycles, and like saying, yeah, okay, it's done in October, but like Manolo, are you like setting up a schedule and like distributing what people to achieve for it to be done?
So this is what I have in mind. Okay, at the moment, even though I'm not coder, but I'm the one that has more experience in those smart contracts. Okay, as I said, I in the past since 2013, I've been really active in the blockchain community, and I've been designing token economy for different startups, including mine, and doing consultancy for crypto project, let's say. And therefore, I have a pretty good understanding about how those smart contracts should work. What I am gonna do is start to design them and use AI, of course, to build them. But then, at one point, we as a tech team, let's say, we need to learn. So I'm gonna explain you all I know about this smart contract and this technology, because it's a different technology, and it's important to understand it deeply. And then together we can start testing it, improving it, and so on. And then at one point, hopefully, the tech team gonna fully understand this technology, and uh, and it's gonna be how we work together. The the DAO, because this technology to release it, you need there are smart contract that can only be deployed by the DAO wallet. Okay, the DAO wallet as a custodian, I'm the one that manage the DAO wallet. This is the job of the custodians. Okay, in the future, at the moment, just to clarify, because that sounds so dangerous. Okay, but it's a multi-signature wallet. Okay, it requires always more than one signature to actually activate this wallet, and there are also a lot of different, I'm not going to explain now, a lot of different security system to manage those multi-signature wallet, including, for example, the time delay. So if an action won't be applied within a specific time, okay, there is going to be a time delay, for example, 1 hour, 2 hours, to allow the community actually to check what's going on. Uh, Anyway, so we as a community, as a tech team, we are gonna build those smart contract. We are gonna test them, and then through the wallet, they're gonna be deployed, which at the moment it requires me. But there is going to be a backup system, because if something happened to me, then it's a problem. But remember this thing, every project can be forked, okay, including this one. So the problem will more become serious when we go live in October. But while we are on the test net, there's no risk, okay? There's really no risk. You just fork the test net, and then when you need to go live, you can go live. But anyway, there are system in place to resolve this risk through, for example, just to give you an example, okay, it could be an email that's going to be sent every month unless I stop it. Okay, and that email is going to be sent to whatever candidate that people that I trust. That will, if I don't stop it, the email gonna be sent, and that person that I trust will have the key of the DAO, and therefore the DAO is recuperable. Uh, Sorry, Sam, did I answer your question? Because I'm not sure I did.
Yeah, partially. Yeah, no, I got the answer I needed through context and more. So yeah, no, that's good.
Okay. All right. Before we move to the sorry, let me read. Before we move to the mid and long term, is there any other question that you want to ask?
I do have a specific question related to um, the symbiotic wallet and signing your agent to yourself. So my assumption is that your personal reputation is intertwined and cannot be separated from your agent's identity. So if you have an agent that is joining a project, right? Me and my agent are going to get on this nonprofit project, and I'm going to be the tech wing of the project. Um, my reputation and my agent's reputation are intertwined, and as I complete that project, um, that will change based on how I did on the project, and that'll be permanently recorded.
So let me explain what's happening because I made some changes about this. Okay, so at the beginning, the first version of Resonant OS, you had to join with your AI and yourself. That would be a two signature wallet. Okay, so together you will sign and control a symbiotic wallet is called. Uh, Now the change here is this one. At the moment, when we start now, we are gonna only have the human wallet. AI is not gonna have a wallet at the beginning. Okay. Then at a second phase, still on the before we go live, we got the AI is gonna start to having a wallet. Now there are two entities. Okay, one is you and one the AI. You, of course, you have the keys of the AI wallet as well. And you are the one that needs to keep them safe. Okay, because AI is not we can trust the AI to keep safe anything, but the AI needs its own wallet to be able to operate and exchange token with other AIs. Okay, so it needs to be independent. You need to be independent to do some other action that are connected to the human. At one point, we are gonna have this symbiotic wallet. Okay, the symbiotic wallet is required on some specific scenarios. Okay, for those that were not here at the beginning, I mean the beginning when we explained this, the symbiotic wallet is give us something specific, which is the ability of locking us with a technology and locking us with the technology and our reputation all together. And that makes you living that identity really, really hard. Why we want this? Because one of the biggest problem we have in the DAO is knowing how many account actually connected to one single person, and is that person actually that account is a human or an AI? Okay, that is the biggest challenge we have. So before AI was I don't know, for example, 1,000 wallet connected to one single person, and that person would use that 1,000 wallet to vote. Okay, so having 1,000 votes at the same time. So now we resolve that problem in the sense you need reputation, and your reputation counts more than number of accounts. So if you have 1,000 accounts at level zero, okay, you just joined, those they can't even vote. Okay, first of all, they can't even vote. So it doesn't matter how many accounts you have. You need to level them up. Level them up means you need to contribute, work, commit. So it's really not worth it. Do it for 1,000. It's much better to do it with one single account because that account, the same amount of work, would give you better result than divide that work. Okay, so in that way we remove the risk of that kind of attack. Okay, attack from a sort of DDoS attack. Okay, because a lot of account could vote and they could be fake. But there is another problem now. That individual, we still don't know if he's a human or an AI. Okay, that is the other challenge. This is a new challenge that is part of the world of AI. So now we create different incentives for human and AI. And just to make it simple, humans are much slower and can do tasks that the AI cannot do. Okay, AI is much faster and can do tasks that human cannot do. So when you have a wallet that is been doing that kind of task, we recognize it as AI, or this other sense is going to be recognized as a human. Okay, there is a way to recognize because of how you work. Now you say, okay, I'm gonna pretend you as a human, you can't pretend to be an AI because you can't work at that speed, at that with that amount. There's no way. But as an AI, you can say, okay, I'm gonna humanize this AI. I'm gonna pretend to be a human. But those tasks from the human at the moment, it's really easy to understand because the AI doesn't have reasoning, the real reasoning. They can't do it, and therefore it's possible to recognize. But with time, we will need to find a better solution to recognize them too. One thing, by creating as this symbiotic wallet, now there is an incentive of being honest. Okay, because you're gonna have an AI that can do amazing work and be rewarded for the amazing work, and you as a human can have other kind of a control and rewarded for that one. The AI will never be able to vote on human acts, on human decision. Okay, AI will have voting power because we are going to experiment with that part, but only on, for example, elements that are really connected to the AI. Okay, then therefore we can start experimenting, even though it doesn't make any sense. Okay, AI doesn't have the intelligence to make those decisions. Okay, the human will always be better, and if the human doesn't know, can ask with AI, then together can make the decision. But anyway, that is the. I forgot your question, but hopefully I, rep- I replied to your question.
You did. You answered it.
Okay. All right. So what is coming next? So now is the phase where I need to share the screen and show and explain this. I think it's here. Okay, so this is the Argumentalism Manifesto, but what I need to share is this, because out of this we can make our medium and long-term decisions. So this is the blockchain, sorry, this is the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was, we don't have the history on this graph because it started before the 2015. But just to give you an idea, this is kind of, this is it's always been the direction like this. Okay, so it was at zero sometimes, somewhere, okay, here in the past. It was zero and then it started to grow and grow and grow. The technology of Bitcoin has this called halving. Okay, every 4 years we have an halving, and we are going to have another one here in 2028. What's happening at this halving is the amount of token that get created as a reward of keeping the network secure are going to be halved. So let's say that, for example, here we had every 10 minutes will be created 10 Bitcoin. Okay. And here, every 10 minutes will be created 5 Bitcoins. On here, 2.5. Okay. On here, 1.25. Okay. On here, even less. Okay. And this is going to go over and over until I can't remember which 2040, something like this. So the amount of this creates basically scarcity within the algorithm. And when it's happening in a day. Oh, sorry. Happen in a specific day. Okay, every 4 years, in reality happen every number of blocks. Okay, the Bitcoin blocks get created every as a it's so technical. I don't want to get too technical, but there is a. I'm not going to go technical, but there is an algorithm that decide how often a new block get created, and is connected to a complexity of cracking a code. And therefore, there are those machines that are there cracking code, and the moment that they crack that code, they get rewarded, and a new block get created. Okay, that is why they use a lot of electricity, because there is a lot of power on trying to crack this code. And the machine that managed to crack this one get the reward, which of course is connected to a human, so that human get the reward. And the machine is the one that create the new block. Now that block get propagated towards all the network. So all the network synchronize to one single reality. The reward system get halved every 4 years. What is happening here means that at that moment, there is like less Bitcoin gonna go inside the market. So you have a really how do you call it? Scarcity inside the market. That scarcity trigger the bull run. Okay, so if you see after that moment, there is always an acceleration. Okay, there has always been an acceleration after. This is a logarithmic chart, otherwise the price would be just go insane. But there is always going to be an acceleration after the halving. Of course, being speculators and so on, people going crazy, they love to speculate. So the price goes to a level that is insane, doesn't make any sense, and then drop back to the reality. This cycle lasts 4 years, okay, and the downtrend is usually is 1 year. So this from the peak to the bottom, it usually is 1 year. Okay, we are here, and the bottom is going to be October, by chance. It's not chance. Okay, October is going to be the bottom. What does it mean? It's pretend. Let's pretend that we are here now. Okay, so it's going to do like this, and October is going to be down the bottom. Why starting here? Because whoever is going to join our community is most likely is never going to lose any money for the next 4 years, which is a good place to be. Okay, if we join here instead, people are going to lose money. But we go here, and this is called the accumulation phase. Okay, all of this is an accumulation phase. We had this drop here because of the lockdown. You remember the COVID, but otherwise it wouldn't look like so bad. It would do this like it did here. So we go into this accumulation phase. Now, what we are trying to do is to sync up with this reality. Okay, because we don't want to launch anything while everything goes down. Okay, we want to actually launch when things are going up. So October, in theory, okay, there's no guarantees, but things have always been like this, even in the past. Okay, so those cycles seems to be rhyming and repeating in a way or another. So let's say October, we start to go live, and what is going to be our job there is to go in these two phases. Okay, one, of course, keep growing with the community, but also not financial advice, but start this accumulation phase. Not financial advice, okay, but this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start at the moment. It doesn't make any sense to buy Bitcoin, but later on it's gonna start to make sense, go into the accumulation phase. So in theory, after halving, we are gonna have a top. Okay, so if you can see, there is a lot of time here before we go to the next peak of Bitcoin, and then it's gonna go down. There is a lot of time. So the halving thing is in 2028, and the top, the next peak is gonna be in 2029. So that is the long term. Okay, so as a medium term, it's everything that happened between October to, let's say, the halving. Okay, from October to the halving is what we're gonna do. I just want to share this so you have a little bit of an idea of how it looks like. And this is the previous ones. Actually, I'm gonna, yes. This is the previous ones. Okay, so more or less, okay, you can see that if does the same thing, both of those past element will happen in around the beginning of October. Okay, one is a little bit longer, but the other is beginning of October. So that is what we can expect to happen. And that's why we're trying to sync up with this. Okay, there is a strategy, because I'm telling you through experience, everything. If you launch a project around here, it's almost impossible to fail. Okay, because just to show you how the market moves. So from here to here, we have 100% gain. So every project that get launched here, there is so much money involved that everybody's pushing, and that's why you see a lot of scams. Okay, the scams all happen in this phase, because there is a euphoria, there is money, and so on, and therefore people are willing to invest and take risks. We are going to do it in the right way, in the sense we are not going to, build a scam, but nevertheless we can leverage the euphoria and the liquidity to build our system. Any question regarding this? All right. So that is the last element that I want to share with you is, after the halving, let's pretend we are here, right? So after the halving, now this is the best moment to launch any project. Okay, we already launched because we are already live here in October. But here we're gonna launch uh, our other token. Okay, we have a token that gains 10% a year. That token is an algorithmic token. Again, if there are no questions, I'm not going to go into technicality, but this is algorithmic token allows the owner of this token, the token holder, to gain the value of 10%. So you're not going to have more tokens, but that token will be swapped, for example, with dollars at 10% higher every year. There's an algorithm that's going to take the price moving up and up. Okay, this seems like sci-fi, but in reality, if you see the dollar, you see an algorithm actually that takes it down and down and down. Okay, the purchasing power goes down over time, but that is an algorithm. Okay, you can create an algorithm that stays steady, an algorithm that goes up. China has this algorithm that stays steady towards the dollars, because in that way they facilitate the import export. So they create an algorithm where their token for their money to stay in connection with the dollar. So the dollar goes down, even their currency somehow purchasing powers goes down, but in sync with the dollar. So we are going to have instead an algorithm that is going to go 10% higher. That will trigger interest, and therefore people will invest. With the money that we make, as we give that token, but we take dollars or Bitcoin or whatever currency. So we take those money, and then we can use those money to buy asset, promote whatever community project, do whatever investment, and we want to do. Okay, as a DAO, we can decide what to do. There's going to be a treasury. The treasury has an algorithm again that manage those money and decide how much money should be allocated, for example, for buying asset, how much money should be allocated to invest on community project, how much of those money should be shared with the community accordingly to their contribution. So it's a sort of a passive income for the community. I think I shared a lot. That is the long term. So now you can understand the time frame. Okay, so we have October here, and then basically 2 years of building the community for, and that is need to be, we need a bigger community to launch that token. Okay, but then October 2028, 2 years later, we can launch that token and take advantage of the bull run. End of my monologue.
Thank you. That was good. Thank you.
If you don't mind, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know you were saying not financial advice, but when it comes to putting money in or investing or utilizing the system to basically start funding it, start pushing it, in your perspective, what is a little bit or a lot or an excessive amount of money in this perspective? Like for example, if you were to say, let's kick this ball rolling, I'm just going to chuck in $100,000. Is that a little bit? Is that a small bump, or is that a huge amount? I know how much it is for a person. I'm curious about how much that is for like a system like this at the baby steps.
No, okay. So I'm gonna share this so you. So we are when we are gonna be here. We are talking about many millions. Okay, this is the community in this phase will grow not 100,000. This is we are talking about millions. Okay, it's hard to tell. Okay, because I don't want to make any promises, but let me share this. Okay. It's important to get. Uh, what did I write? Going go, to have a little
I
bit
guess
of.
the better question would be more to ask, like, to get this sort of system off the ground, what is the kind of the cost of all the infrastructure that we would need to sort out, and that all total cost would cost, how much we need to invest to get it moving, I guess.
Okay, so we as a community is there is a different thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to here because I want to show you a few things so you understand a little bit the sides. So for us, I'm planning this. We can do this without any serious investment from the community itself. Okay, so I'm planning this in the worst case scenario. Okay, which is it works in this way. Okay, because there is also another sink that I didn't explain. Okay, my YouTube channel that has a exponential growth and which sounds crazy, okay? But the thing here, everything goes exponential, like the Bitcoin, the AI, and the community, everything grows into this exponential curve. In reality, community grows in a bell curve. Which is really similar to an exponential until it dies. But the first part is look like an exponential curve. So what I'm planning here is that we as a community we are gonna grow and grow and grow. So we have 2 years basically to grow to into the thousands of people. And we're gonna do this because of Resonant OS, the product is gonna get better and better, adoption and so on. So the community is gonna also, each one of you is gonna somehow support this and make it grow. At the same time, my YouTube channel is growing, and is gonna have more and more traction. Therefore, I'm gonna be able to invite even more people and get people will get to know about this project through my Substack and YouTube channel. And we have 2 years. So in 2 years' time, in theory, if everything goes well with my YouTube channel I'm talking about, we are gonna have enough traction to actually launch basically any kind of product, uh, according to the speed to which my channel is going. Okay, he projected inside the curve of exponential growth. So we have 2 years to go to get on a stage where it's not going to be difficult for us to promote an idea. There is other things that community member that are gonna join. They each one of us will be able to do something to help the community to grow. It's our community, it's our token, it's our project. You co-own it. Each one of us will do something. Let's say, for example, that we have at the moment we are 730 something like this in and we don't need much money in this phase, okay, because we use AI to build, so the cost is really low. But let's say in a year time, we are, I don't know, just to say a number, 5,000. And then we can say, okay, let's put, I don't know, $100 each. Okay, you can see that we can see it's really easy to finance our own project when we decide, okay, let's finance it. Now, not everybody's going to do it. Some people can make more money, some people less money. But nevertheless, as a community, we can say we have a DAO. Okay, we can decide there is a proposal, marketing decision, I don't know, whatever, buy an asset, whatever we want. Okay, we can say as a community, promote this and then finance it as a community and say, I put, I don't know, $100, you get rewarded for doing so, and your reputation goes up and so on, and then we can, put some money together and finance it. But the point here is when we launch with our token in this in this phase of going up with ability to promote it, I mean, making money here is honestly, I mean, look at this one. Okay, this is really clear. This is crazy. Okay, this is the madness of human. They just go parabolic and they start investing on everything.
Yeah.
Now this one looks different because we are in logarithmic, but that is the reality. Okay, that's how things grows. And in these phases, honestly, if you have a good idea, if you have a project, if you know, I mean, what we're building now, it's gonna go well, and therefore here we're gonna have the finance to promote our own projects. Hope it
Yeah.
makes sense, but nevertheless, doesn't mean that we can't find investments. There is a lot of things that can happen. I'm planning for things that even without investment, we as a community, okay, counting mainly on myself, we can still doing it. That's what I believe. Okay, even if I'm the only one pushing this, we can still do it.
Yeah.
I guess for myself, my question was about like trying to understand the scope of saying like, okay, so if we get to the point where we release the product we've got at the start of the buying phase or the whatever phase you were talking about, like the investment phase of the cycle of the Bitcoin or the virtual coins, if basically like if I were to prepare myself as a person to say, right, this is a good time of my life that I need to invest in something, what's a little, what's a lot from a community member's perspective, from a person's perspective. Like I know personally, like every single person has different financials. Everyone's got a different perspective. But I was just kind of like, I don't want to go into this thinking that I'm actually putting in money, but really it's just pennies.
Okay, so I tell you what. Okay, there is a reason why I say no financial advice because it's not legal for a person to give financial advice. Okay, you need to be recognized as a financial advisor. So I can't give financial advice, but what I can tell you is what I'm gonna do. Okay, and then you consider yourself. In October, it's gonna start the bottom. Okay, that means it's going to start this accumulation phase. The accumulation phase works. It's not like you put everything at once. Means that you do DCA, this dollar cost average, and
Right.
meaning you buy every day, every week, whatever amount you can afford. Okay, let's just to say a number. I'm gonna buy $10 every day. Okay, $10 of Bitcoin every day because that is sustainable for you. Okay, some people say I can't sustain $10. I can sustain $3. Gonna $3. I can sustain $100. $100. Whatever you can sustain doesn't. It's not what you can do at once because that doesn't make sense. Okay, you need to average down the risk. So you start buying on a weekly base, on a daily basis, depending on what is more convenient for you. But you start buying for the next 2 years, and then you stop. Okay, that's how I'm gonna do it.
That's
And
good.
are we buying Bitcoin? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
No, you carry on. It just sounds good. I was just curious about what the scope is, what the action is. Like, I was a bit worried that, like, to be a viable person in this, you have to sort of drop big money, or like, because every time I hear about these sort of systems, you always hear about the people who put in millions of dollars or billions of dollars as big investors or whatever. And I wouldn't want someone to come in and put in a huge amount of money, and I come in like with, I don't know, a couple of thousand, 10,000, whatever, but I basically make nothing and go nowhere because all the big fish have done all of the
Okay, so
capacity.
so let me and then we close because this is not the topic of this call. Okay, so you see now it's not in logarithmic. This is how it looks like if not logarithmic. Okay, so you see those kind of movement. So whenever you bought, apart on here on the last bull run, but wherever you bought in the past, it's you are in profit. Now if it's all about how long it's gonna take. Okay, so let's say I buy here $300. Okay, I bought it. I bought it in 2013. It was $100 per Bitcoin. Okay, so if you wait enough time, then you can see that each Bitcoin can become insane amount of price, and but this is about the time. So if you want to make a lot of money in a short term, there you need to invest a lot. Okay, because while in the past, let's say for example this bull run, the 2021, it did 500%, 550%. Okay, 5.5 the investment that you made. On here, he made 2,629%. So if you see there is a diminishing return. Okay, so more time passes and less is possible to make with Bitcoin. And therefore more money you need to actually make a big difference. So if you accumulate, for example, just to say a number, okay, $10,000 over this the next 2 years, just to say a number, okay, what you will expect to do is probably 3 times what you invested. Okay, so 30,000, which is, you say, okay, it's good, but not life changing. So if you want to make life changing, you need to invest much more, or you build this DAO with us, and that's the problem. Is it solves itself, because while Bitcoin it's the safest version, there are other token that actually do different kind of return. Okay, because they're just smaller,
Okay,
they move
thanks.
more.
I didn't want to derail the conversation too much. I just wanted to try and work out the scope. But cool, thank you for that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Okay,
when
sorry, I got to get back to work, so I'm gonna jump
yeah,
off my
yeah.
video and then I'll keep listening. Thank you.
Hey, Sam.
Um, So, I mean, at one point we will discuss when we're gonna be the right time. And I'm always happy to talk about uh, this kind of uh, talking about crypto. But the point here is there is a lot of projects, like you can see, and all of those projects are losing more than Bitcoin is losing, but when they go up much more than Bitcoin does. So while Bitcoin, you see, for example, it does, I don't know, 100%, some of those tokens can do 5,000%, 10,000%, okay, in the same bull run. So you will see that that's why people go crazy, okay, because they say, okay, this whatever crazy project, like, I mean, there's those projects about cats and dogs, the Shiba Inu. Okay, just a cat, that is a dog. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, but those tokens just can do crazy. But anyway, what we are building is not this kind of reality. What we are building is a real project with a real token economy, and we can discuss maybe one day about this token economy in details. Uh, Sal, you had a question, I believe.
Yeah. Two things I want. One thing is I want you to just talk just a little bit about like the difference between a lot of the coins that are out there that are doing well that really don't have much of utility. They're just a coin. and compare that with what you're offering. Like there, because there's a big difference, is there not?
Yes. So what it's, I mean, a good question, but at the same time, again, we are going into higher complexity.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna go into this complexity, but I'm sorry if it's gonna become too complex. Okay, so what's the complexity here? It's connected to the human how human deal with greed and fear. Okay, human has this thing about greed. Okay, and it's insane. When you see something that is going up, and you're just making insane amount of money in a short term, you just want to make more and more, and you can't control yourself. It's a weird thing. Okay, it's just insane. The thing here is there is therefore we as a human we become higher speculators, and we are looking for speculating. Therefore, there's going to be people try to find in whatever project if there is a weakness they can use to speculate on it. So how we're building our system to be protecting from that kind of behavior, we create a token that is easy to speculate on. Okay, and then we have another token that is exactly the opposite. Is the one that grow 10% a year. You can't speculate because it's fixed. Okay, it won't move. But while our token that we call it the rewarding token that we're gonna share now, that one is our speculative token. So understand the beauty about this strategy. So now we are gonna gain this speculative token over time. They have zero value at the moment. Okay, at zero value, doesn't zero value. But over time, because of human ability of giving value to whatever, we are gonna add functionality to this token. Okay, buy a service, do something. Okay, whatever. Okay, and what is gonna happen during the bull run? People are gonna try to speculate on that token. Okay, so they're gonna buy with the idea of pushing the price up because they create scarcity about the token. They are gonna push the price up, and once it's gonna go really up, they're gonna sell it like there's no tomorrow. Okay, so that is how we as a community we can make money because that people will push the price up. So we are now earning this token for that it's worth zero. Maybe, and we get thousands of those. Maybe will be worth it, I don't know, $1. And now we, over 2 years, we have been accumulating those tokens. Okay, then these people want to buy, and we are gonna sell it, allow them the speculation, and manage the curve. Now, what we are building though is not, we build this as a protecting system for ourselves. Okay, because otherwise they will attack other part. But we make one that it's easy to speculate on. Okay, so we bring the attention there. You can speculate if you want, but this other token instead is the one that the 10% a year is the one that they are gonna use to get out of it, because that's where's the best way to go when everything crashes to something that keeps paying you, and therefore they are gonna turn into this other token. Now, if you're not used to this kind of thing, sounds extremely scary and not nice because there is nothing nice with speculation like this. Okay, so I followed this for many years. That honestly, there's nothing nice. There's a lot of people going broke up, and it's really bad. But if we are passive towards it, that means we can become victim of the system. But if we in reality we manage it by creating a token to which they can speculate, that token can actually help us building the reality that we need to build and finance the reality that we want to finance. Okay, so we just take advantage of the human inability of actually reasoning and say, okay, you speculate, do your madness, but we're gonna take those money to turn into something that is gonna save us all, basically, because we are gonna build the financial system needed post AGI, let's say. Hope Sal, I try to make it simple, but that is the thing. Michelle.
Hi, Manolo. I just want to ask you about what you say, like maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks before. You you suggest maybe to use the DAO, the Resonant OS, and to offer services from outside, from people outside the community. Are you still thinking to do that too?
Uh, yes, but the the point is not what I think, it's what we think as a community. Okay, if you want to do something, you can do it. It doesn't matter what I think. Okay, that is the idea of the DAO that we need to understand. This is something that we own. My job as a custodian is not to limit you, is to actually empower your idea, but to protect the manifesto that drive the direction of the DAO. Okay, that's all I need to do. So if you want to do something and say, I want to build this that help people outside the community, yes, why not? Why not? Let's do it.
So
Okay.
we can vote abole, so that's what you say.
Yeah, sometimes you can vote, but you as an individual, you don't even need the vote. Okay, you as an individual, you can say, I'm gonna do this. That's it. As long as it's not against the manifesto, okay, and is in line with the manifesto, then it's all fine for the DAO. So it's all about, are you in line with the DAO or not? If you are in line, you don't need permission from anybody. You can build whatever
Okay.
you want. And
Okay.
I need to also explain this thing. The Resonant DAO is a DAO of DAOs, is a community for communities. So you can join with your community. You can build a community within the community. And that community can say, for example, I want this community just to be focused on this specific project. This specific project, it is about helping with AI people outside the DAO.
I see.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So this is, I know that it's a lot of information, and probably what we can do out of the recorded transcription of this, of this, turn into a document, maybe where there's everything explained there. So I just want to close with this, and then we have a round of questions if there are any, and we basically use all the time that we had available. But I want just to, for those people that sounds these kind of things completely crazy. So the idea of value. Okay, something has a value because we as a human we give it to it. Okay, and over time in the history we try to find things that are scarce to have a value. Okay, to give value. This is the gold is rare and has a value, but in reality, think about you give to an animal, they don't care. They don't even see the value of it. Okay, there's no value there. What has value is food, water, air, the other things has value. Okay, a stone, a metal doesn't have any value. Okay, in reality, we as a human, we create the value and we price things according to what the market decide what that thing should be valued. Now, when Bitcoin came out, everybody said has no value until some humans say, I'm willing to buy it. Okay, and there's been someone, we are still celebrating the Bitcoin Pizza Day, which is the day that someone bought with, I don't know, 10,000 Bitcoin, something like this, a pizza. Okay, that is the idea. So finally, someone was willing to exchange Bitcoin for something. Okay, so Bitcoin had a value. You needed to use 10,000 Bitcoins to buy a pizza. And then, and then we as a human, we start doing this. So things also has a value when they have a utility. Okay. For example, silver has a value not just because it's a rare metal, but because we use it for electronics. Okay, so has a value in there because it has a utility. Now, Bitcoin has a value because resolve another kind of problem. It has a utility of exchanging money over the internet in a decentralized way and without permission from anybody. Okay, that is a value. There is no other technology that can do something like this, therefore has a value. Now, our token, we can connect our token uh, to things that has a value. Okay, for example, to utilities. you need that token, for example, to buy a service within the DAO. Now the token has a utility, as give you access to services that are product and services sold within the DAO. Okay, now you can say, okay, this token is the only token that can be accepted by the academy, for example. So if you want to do the academy and learn about whatever, okay, you need to use the token. Now that token has a value because it's the only way to access a specific network, a specific service, and so on. So I'm just simplifying, but just to help you understand how value get created. Okay, it's a human creation, and we decide the value through the market. And the market is in the hand of speculators, unfortunately, and therefore oscillation are just insane because it's greed and fear. And that's what we see inside the Bitcoin. Greed and this incredible going up, and then the fear, I'm gonna sell, and then everybody sell at once and then just drop. So that is what we have. So thanks for this. But before we close the day, is there any other question you might have? A question are welcome because it's the best way to understand something is to ask questions.
I have one if no one else does.
Go ahead, Tom.
So following along with Sam's question, so at one point when our DAO coin is available, if someone was highly excited and really wants to support the DAO, like myself, let's say I just wanted to buy a bunch of DAO tokens, that would be something we could do at that stage, right?
Yeah. So it works in this way, okay? That is another complex aspect. Everything is complicated, but because it's complicated, because maybe it's new to you. So in the decentralized world, first let's look in the decentralized world, okay? So you have, let's say you have dollar and you want to buy euros. To do it, you need an exchange. You need to go somewhere that is going to create this exchange for you, and basically a bank which is going to exchange this money. The bank has the liquidity necessary to operate this, meaning has both dollars and euros. So when you go there with your dollars, has euros already ready for you to exchange, and you're going to exchange for a premium, of course. Now, in the decentralized world, there's no banks, okay? There's no an individual that you need to knock and ask permission, can you do this? No, there is a software. That software is called a liquidity pool. Inside the liquidity pool, there are, again, dollars and euros. In our case, it's going to be dollars and our token. Okay, so what is happening now is people are gonna start. Let's say we have 100 and 100. Okay, so $100 and 100 our token. So that means that each one of our token is worth $1. Okay, in that moment, the moment that they come and want to buy our token, what they do, they take out our token. So instead of being 100, let's say they buy 10, they become 90. But then they put $10 on inside. Okay, so they took 10 out and put $10 here. Now we have $110 for 90 of our token. Means our token now is worth more than $1 because 90 of them make 110. Does it make sense? So that is the liquidity. So the moment that people start buying, they pushing up the price of the token automatically through this software. So now, to be able to do this, we need to have liquidity. So we need to create the liquidity. So this can be done in two ways, okay? Because you need a lot of money. We are talking about when we start maybe a few hundred of thousands of dollars, but we are talking about millions because that is the amount of people that move. Again, sorry, I want to just share a little bit so you. We're gonna go into those things in the future more details. But so Bitcoin, just to have an idea, that is the volume in 24 hours. It is $33 billion that move inside the liquidity pool. Okay, $33 billion in 24 hours. But if we go to smaller projects, just one of the hundreds, okay, there is many more, but they move. I mean, this one is really small. Let's look at this one. It's $19 million moved in a day. Okay, 161 pages. So it's, maybe I went too low. Those one are not moving anything. Sorry. Let's look into page 5. So those are smaller project, and they can move between 20 million, 3 million, 300,000, 500,000 in a day. Okay, so that is the what can happen. So we need a liquidity pool that can manage this. This can be done through investments, can be done through the community putting the money there, because anyway, the people that provide the liquidity pool provider makes money out of the pool itself. So I know that is a lot of data, but I hope that creates some clarity on how the system works.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry because I did in this chat we were supposed also to talk about consciousness, but we took all the time to about the DAO, which I think is really important. I hope it creates some clarity for the short, medium, and long term.
Yeah, discussing something light and accessible like consciousness would be great to do now for 2 hours after what you discussed. No, but that was super interesting. I think it's great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, the DAO is actually for me it's like already a big subject. So you know, so consciousness is too much, honestly. Even the DAO, you know, you make everything more clear for me, but I feel like I need time to digest it. And maybe if you have something like more visual or something, you know, I know we talk about it, the roadmap. Yeah, I know you have a lot to do. Actually, if you need help, I can help because it will help me to know exactly because you talk about October
Yeah.
to help you know how we can start to move, you know, because we soon tomorrow is May, so I think we need to start to, you know, to
Yeah.
organize.
So now there's a really good news here. Okay, first of all, we have the recording and the from the recording we should have the transcription, right? So we have the transcription where everything I said is there. Now maybe Chimo or you, Michelle, can get this transcription and say to give to the AI and say, look, create like nice diagrams or whatever, PowerPoint thing, and then we have. You give it to me, I double check that is everything is correct, and then we can share with the community.
All right.
But it's
Thank-
super simple. I wanted to do it. Okay. Apparently, there is this image tool from GPT that is amazing from OpenAI, which is amazing. And I know Chimo have access to it. So I don't know if you, Michelle, you also have access.
No, which one?
But maybe we can work together with Chimo and build this.
Yeah, it will be great.
And
We can work on that towards Tuesday.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Uh,
I'll share anyway on the Discord the transcription, the summary, and the video. So we're starting to get a more structured system to compile all the videos and maybe at some point get a search engine there as well for topics. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great, a wiki of some kind.
Nice. So yeah, that is the roadmap. Any other question? There is some new people joining. I'm sorry that we didn't have a chance to present. One left, unfortunately, just left. But yeah, any questions? That's it. All right. Good. Good. All right. Thanks a lot for this. So the next call is for the tech team is on Monday, same time, same link. Then on Tuesday there is a different link from Chimo that does the academy, and then Wednesday we are gonna talk about Resonant OS and the DAO. Sorry, Resonant OS and the AI, and the Thursday is about those more philosophical and strategic decision. Greg.
Yeah, just a quick question. You've done more updates on the Resonant OS. Are you pushing those to GitHub as you do them, or when should we expect
So,
to download a new version?
according to my AI, there should be already been pushed to the new online to the GitHub.
Okay, I'll check for them.
Yeah, so this is what it said. Fixed and pushed.
Okay, I'll look for it. If you
So
could just ping us when you do a push so that we know that there's a new version.
yeah, it's honestly I wanted to say because it just happened before the call. So the idea was
Okay,
to come here and say it.
sure.
But yeah, thanks for reminding me. But yeah,
Right.
so actually at the beginning of the call, I don't know if you were here, I showed the different things that I created.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
those one have been created and pushed.
yeah. I didn't know if you had pushed them or not.
Yeah,
That's all.
Yeah, and they installed clean on Windows, Linux, and Mac.
amazing.
Yeah, they good
Did,
clean installs.
did you have any graphical display issues when you launched it on Linux?
I didn't get that far in my testing.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just did the bare install, got it compiled, got it running, got it up. I didn't evaluate it fully myself.
So
Okay. Yeah.
regarding the problem on Linux,
Yeah.
I think I maybe I sent a message on direct on Tom. Let me see. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna share the yeah, I'm gonna share uh, this comment. Maybe it makes sense to you as well, Greg. I share this on the chat. Apparently, there is one non-issue with the Rust, and you need to use the earlier version, the 1.9.4.
let me jump in there, Manolo.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
only because I have a 16-year-old dev laptop. It's a beast, but it's 16 years old with a Haswell processor, so I had to revert back on the compile. But Manolo's pre-compiled is good. So, but I was doing two tests. I was taking his artifact and installing it, and then I was also doing local compile to see if there were any local compilation issues on each platform. And I ran
Yeah.
into a compilation issue on my old Haswell processor. So you should not have that problem if you have something modern.
No, I have a Raspberry Pi 5 and it compiled and ran on that without issue, except for a display issue of the interface. But my AI was able to resolve that by changing um, the the GUI platform that it was using. I put it into the tech team chat in
Okay.
Discord. So
Did you push that as an issue up to the repo?
I did not. No, I just dropped it
Okay.
into the chat for now, just so
Okay.
Manolo was aware of what I was seeing on my install. But it's a simple fix. It was just a matter of changing some launch parameters to use a different GUI.
Okay. If I run into that, I'll make it an issue and then post it up just for archival purposes. So we're tracking them, and that's the only reason I pushed that one, Manolo. I just wanted other people to know if you have an old laptop, you're going to run into a compile
Yeah.
issue if you try to compile and run. So
Yeah, I can publish it as an issue as well, if that makes more sense.
please, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, yeah, because I've got another one to do as well.
Thank you. Just so we have saved inside this recording, and for those that didn't check, were not here, this is the new version of Resonant OS. What I added compared to yesterday is now the augment, the main AI, and the main memory system are also add-ons. So the user can decide to use it or not. They can replace the memory system with whatever memory system they want. They can replace the augment or the main AI with whatever AI they want. Okay, so this is not mandatory. Everybody can use whatever system they want. Okay, joining the Resonant OS, therefore you can join with your system. What you have access then is a network of our community and a network of community developed add-ons that can empower your AI. That is the architecture that we are going for. Okay, nothing that lock you or force you to use anything. Okay, you should be able to do whatever you want with the Resonant OS, customizing the way that you want. One of the add-on, or maybe will be part of Resonant OS, will be also the ability to change the graphic, add your logo if you want to, whatever. Okay, this is your software. Remember this. This is yours. You do whatever you want. So no limit on that part. The chat also, I add the ability to pop it out. So let's say that you want to work with the chat on the side and another software on the other side. Now you can do this. Okay, those are the updates on Resonant OS.
And that's a very
Manolo.
big update. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Someone was speaking. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Just something I was just thinking about when you were going through everything, and maybe combine all this information here. I don't know, consolidate it. But I agree with that the future is going to be token-based reality for us. And I think that the way to generate income, one of the ways to generate lots of income is to create a system where you are collecting money for people for tokens. So what we're building here with Resonant is a perfect opportunity if we could set up even if we have to use online computers until we get our big enough resource, or if we're able to stream together all of us and create computing. I know some people have mentioned they have old gaming systems, and we were able to set these up in the cloud and then create and put the most advanced, as they become more and more advanced, the open systems LLMs, the open LLMs, they're going to be catching up really fast with the current models that people are paying to use right now. And then we could set up a system where people could purchase tokens. I just saw a thing yesterday where this one company's giving away $1,000 in usage of their, thing to the first 1,000 people who watch the video. And I'm thinking to myself, that's the future right there, is you create a token-based system. It doesn't even have to deal with anything to do with Bitcoin or any of that, because Bitcoin could be obsolete in 10 years. But now we're generating cash. It could be Spanish pesetas, it could be American dollars, or whatever. We're collecting cash, and then, as an entity, you could decide how you want to invest that or move that around. But we're selling tokens, and then as a community, if we get our system set up, we could actually get a part of that money by renting out our servers. And in other words, we can create our own infrastructure, user-based infrastructure that can provide the compute power needed for these tokens that these people will be utilizing because of this fantastic new system called Resonant. And that's kind of, I don't know, it's just something that's just kind of rolling through my head, but I apologize if I'm interjecting and
No,
jumping in here.
that is good. I mean, first of all, we need the brainstorming. Okay, all those ideas are good, and this idea of the AI token to be able to share and sell with the community and be rewarded in doing so, but also is one of the assets that we can buy in the future, right? So once we start making money through the Resonant OS, so the Resonant DAO for the token and so on, then we can buy or rent uh, those computer to give them token and inside the community for maybe for the right price or whatever project, or just sell it to people that are inside the community or outside the community. This is the kind of thing that we need to start experimenting. Okay, for example, you said you have these Mac Studio that they are not working. So that one thing is possible to connect to the network. We need to build the software, but it's possible to connect and say, okay, now the community can use it. Okay, and you're gonna get rewarded, for example, for now, rewarded in token. Okay, the community token. So you start gaining some community token through this activity. I'm gonna do the same. I got mine here, and then, but what we are doing, we are learning something that is extremely important. Okay, so we are starting learning, experimenting with this technology in a way that is, I mean, as you can see, it's really difficult to build something like this. If we start building, now we become expert, and now we can start offering this kind of services, consultancy. We can do a lot of things. So that is the part that we need to do as a community. But yeah, it's all good, and
Yeah. And that distributed computing idea is definitely, something to think forward to, because like Manolo said, he's got a box there. We all have machines, and if we can align ourselves and maybe even have our own models trained, right? Build them and host them and distribute them in a manner that runs through the DAO coin distribution model. That way, we can control the access and build it out.
yeah. And one thing that I want to say, but now we need to call this end this call. Okay, there is so much that about the token economy that I didn't explain because I know there is a lot to take in. So, but over time, hopefully, you're gonna understand more and more this what we're building with this technology, and then I'm gonna explain the token economy, because the token economy that we have, I love it. I love it.
Well, I made reference to a company. I'll just clarify. It was Hyper Agent. If anyone was curious of what it was about, Hyper Agent was offering $1,000 in credits towards tokens for the 1,000 people. So they're like, "Hey, we're giving away $1 million." But really, are they giving away $1 million? No, they're giving away
Yeah.
tokens. And again, tokens is going to be the new scratch. That's going to be really, and that's what Jason, whatever his name is, the head of NVIDIA, when he was talking about, getting all the programmers. If your guy is not generating or spending at least 200,000 tokens a year, you need to have a sit down with him. And that's really and if you really start looking at what's going on, even with these YouTube channels, they're promoting people to sign up to use some of these agents and so forth because they want to burn more not coin, tokens. And it's all about a token economy. That's where we're getting into right now. And so the key is to think about everyone to focus on, how can I take advantage of this token economy? Because that's really where we're going to. I mean, we're
Yeah,
already there, but
yeah, totally. But we need. I mean, this is could be a discussion for another day. But there is two things to consider. That not every token has the same value, so the intelligence of each token can be different. So you might need 10 token from GPT 5.5 or 1,000 tokens from whatever small model to achieve the same result. Okay, so
yeah,
each
but that's
token.
what makes your application or this application so valuable, because you, as a group, we or you as the head of the group, the custodian, determines. You could say, hey, today it's worth 10, 10, 10 is worth, nope, now it's 100. That's really what's going on with, these people complaining about when they're using Claude Code or whatever. All of a sudden, one day, arbitrarily, it changes. What you used to get double the amount of usage out of, now you get half the usage out of. But that's because they own the keys to the car. So that's why what we're doing here and talking about is developing and creating this system where we as a collective group own the keys to the car, and we can determine the value of that. And once we're all vested and invested in it, then we could just start, if whatever we want. Let's say we want to create a new power system for somewhere or whatever. We could just crank the value up. It's just a matter of changing it. Nobody even has to know it's being changed. It just burns through them faster.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. We as a community, that is the importance of the community. Okay, as a community, we can do things that as an individual is impossible, and uh, and but that is also why we have this constitution. So we do it in line from the benefit of the community. But yeah, all those are all good ideas that we need to experiment, and we have. In reality, I mean, we can experiment even now as soon as we build it, but then we have again 2 years of time to grow. It's not doesn't mean that we don't doing gonna do anything. We are gonna grow constantly, but we have 2 years to grow and build something amazing for then having the maximum acceleration. But anyway, I think we should stop here. We're never gonna end. But yeah, thanks a lot, everybody.